wanna know my occupation? I get paid to rock the nation. Roland
Hold it now.
Roland Martin brought to you by General Motors, the all-new 2014 Chevrolet Impala with a style that looks to the past, examines the present, and is tailored just for you. The 2014 Chevrolet Impala. Find new roads from our Washington, D.C. studios. Roland Martin, good morning.
Hey, Tom, Sybil, and Jay. 50 years ago, our people woke up this morning with their minds stayed on freedom, and certainly we want to shout out those brothers and sisters, those known and unknown, Tom, who stepped up and who spoke up for us and marched for us. And so we want to just thank them for all that they do. And, of course, that rally was about jobs and freedom. It was about economic injustice. But I would say that today the most fundamental issue that is facing African Americans continues to be economic injustice and inequality, but it's also tied to the issue of education. And two of the leading voices when it comes to education reform and doing what's right for our children are Dr. Steve Perry, of course, as well as Michelle Rhee, the founder of Students First, and both of them are embarking on a national education reform conversation, and they join us this morning. Doc, Michelle, good morning.
Good morning.
Again, I made that point about this being the most fundamental issue, and people say all kinds of different things. You know, what's the number one civil rights issue? But I just think when you look at the future of Black America, education is absolutely at the top.
Well, it's always been the civil rights issue. Anybody remember 1954, Brown versus Board of Education, the very beginning of the civil rights movement? We have understood as a community that education was the way out of enslavement from the time that we were slaves. It was the most revolutionary thing that we could do back then. That's why they were the slave codes in which we couldn't be taught to read. And it seems like in some of our schools, those slave codes are still in place.
Michelle, Steve, you guys are calling this beginning of this discussion the education revolution.
Yeah, you know, I think Steve is absolutely right. If you look at this country today, the fact of the matter is that America has fallen towards the bottom internationally on social mobility, which means that if you are a child who is born into poverty in America, the likelihood that you will ever escape poverty is slim to none. Which just makes absolutely no sense. America's supposed to be the land of equal opportunity, of freedom, a place where it doesn't matter who you're born to, where you're born, the color of your skin. If you get a high-quality education, then you can live the American dream. And the reality for so many children today is that that is not attainable, because if you are a child who's growing up in poverty, the likelihood that you are attending a failing school is much, much higher, which means that you're not getting the skills and knowledge that you need to be a productive member of society. That has to change. We need an absolute revolution in order to change that dynamic for American kids.
Steve, I've always made the point that I believe in every form of education: public, private, homeschool, charter school, online, vouchers. I don't care how you educate a kid, but it seems as if when you talk about changing how we do things and trying new things, you find resistance, and not just resistance from folks in the education field, but you even have politicians and parents. I'm not so sure. But if the current system isn't working properly for our kids, then there has to be something different done.
Well, honestly, Roland, the parents seem to get it. Millions of parents, mostly Black, Latino, and poor, have made it very clear that they want school choice. They want what you just said. They want to be able to choose between a charter, magnet, or local public school. They want to be able to choose between a private school, but they want choice. They've made that abundantly clear. We know that teachers' unions, and unfortunately our good friends at NAACP, have found a way to make sure that the current failed system stays in place. We need our brothers and sisters in NAACP to fight for more CPs than they do the teachers' unions that are NEAs and AFTs. We need to focus on our children. What's best for our kids is school choice.
Michelle, with Students First, and look, I'm a board member as well, so let's be clear. You decided that, look, you got to contend with policy and going state by state, because it's one thing to be on the outside saying, please change this, but you got to be on the inside to ensure the policy changes take place.
That's right. You have to have rules in place that allow parents to have as many options possible to send their kids to a high-performing school. And I think that what Steve was referring to is absolutely right. You have a situation where most parents know that they would want choices in terms of where to send their kids. But you also have a dynamic where there are lots of politicians around this country who are saying things like, well, I don't think I like vouchers, as an example. And I'm a Democrat. I can say this. There are a lot of Democratic politicians in particular who say, vouchers aren't really sort of a Democratic thing. But the reality is that if you are a low-income parent whose kid is trapped in a failing school, you want to get them out of there using any means necessary. And yet you have these politicians making policies saying, well, that's not allowed. The bottom line is that those people, would never allow their own children to stay trapped in a failing school. So why would we have policies in place that would subjugate other people's children to a reality that they would never, ever allow for their own kids?
Where are you launching in Los Angeles, September 5th, and how many cities are you visiting?
We're going to 3 cities in the first round. We are going to L.A., we're going to Birmingham, and we're going to Philadelphia.
All right, then. Michelle Rhee, Dr. Steve Perry, we surely appreciate it. Thank you so very much. And, folks, remember, it's only about the kids. That's what it should be about. Thanks so much.
How's the weather in Washington for the march today?
Supposed to be sunny in the morning and early afternoon, and then possible rain 1 to 4. So have your rain gear. No umbrella, so bring those ponchos.